Hello, all. Welcome to the show. I'm Gus Gagliardi, and this is Fire Code Tech. On Fire Code Tech, we interview fire protection professionals from all different careers and backgrounds in order to provide insight and a resource for those in the field. My goal is to help you become a more informed fire protection professional. Fire Code Tech has interviews with engineers and researchers, fire marshals, and insurance professionals, and highlights topics like codes and standards, engineering systems, professional development, and trending topics in the industry. So if you're someone who wants to know more about fire protection or the fascinating stories of those who are in the field, you're in the right place. Hello all, and welcome to episode 30 of Fire Code Tech. On this episode we have Jose Oliveira. On episode 30 of Fire Code Tech, we're diving deep into BIM, custom software solutions, and everything Revit in the architecture, engineering, and construction industry. If you have any interest in computer programming or where the architecture, engineering, and construction industry bridges the gap between cutting edge technology and custom software solutions, then this episode is going to fascinate you. I found Jose online through looking for information on how to learn how to apply programming to Revit and fire and life safety design. He has some great online courses and resources. I'll be sure to post those in the show notes. Really enjoyed this episode because Jose has great information for professionals to keep developing and keep learning, and he's a great resource for free tools and good material for Revit and BIM. I hope you enjoy this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, give us a review on iTunes, 5 stars please, and also remember to follow us on social media so you remember that we post every week about the episodes and when they're coming out to give you a good reminder to tune in. Let's dive into the show. Well, Jose, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's such a pleasure to get to speak with you.
Hello, guys. Thank you very much first for the invite and the opportunity to talk to you and share some of my experience and DRoots experience, of course. So thank you very much for this great opportunity and great pleasure for me.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I like to get started with telling people a little bit about how you got into your career. In this case, it's not specifically fire protection, but yeah, I want to hear about.
My first step, let's say, yeah, exactly. I can tell you, guys, I have to tell you, this was not probably the most orthodox way to do. Even the reason I came to the UK was for a different purpose. I came to the UK. I'm Portuguese, by the way, and I came to the UK 15 years ago, almost. And my dream was financial markets. That's the reason they brought me to the UK. London is one of the biggest centers of financial markets in Europe and in the world. But unfortunately, I after I had my dream job, I lost it as well with the credit crunch in 2008, 2009. So I had to restart again. So I was in a trainee position to become a financial trader, and then suddenly I have nothing. So I fortunately found this job in the most, let's say, unusual way. I met my first boss in the industry in the restaurant. I was a waiter, and yeah, that's the way I met. And then my journey, I started in this company as a Revit MEP trainee coordinator, modeler, technician, or whatever you wanna say. And since then, I done much more, as you probably understand, guys, and you probably saw my profile. And yeah, but that's the way I start, not the normal way. So that's I came here without knowing, to be frank with you, but I'm loving it, and it's a great industry. It's a lot of opportunities. That's what matters at the end.
Wow. Wow, that's incredible that you had such a unconventional start to your career in the industry. It seems like a lot of interesting people I talk to don't really find it through the traditional pathways. They kind of
Hmm.
have a roundabout way to getting to their career, even though they end up being so excellent at it. So I wanted to speak a little bit more about, a couple of the different roles that you've held in the industry since you started out as a draftsman, like you said. But
Yeah.
what kind of different consultancies or companies or roles did you fill before you found yourself at your role now?
Yeah, yeah, of course, guys. I can say, for example, I was a bit lucky with my first steps in this industry, in the AEC industry as well. I start with one of the first companies in Europe that believe in Revit, and my previous boss definitely he saw Revit potential in one of these AUs, apparent Autodesk universities in Vegas. He went to took, and I managed to start with him as a Revit MEP coordinator, a modeler. And since then, I worked for, of course, larger companies, and even I worked with Atkins, Gruntmine, which is now part of Sweco. Did work as well with McDonald, which is quite also strong in the US. And after that, I have also a small break in terms of UK. I went to the Middle East. I spent some time in Kuwait and also in Doha mainly. I was working initially for a local contractor in Kuwait, and then I moved to work with Autodesk as a technical BIM consultant. So, and after work with Autodesk, I finally came back to the UK as a UK BIM director for WSP. And after WSP, then I started my journey that probably you are aware of, DRoots, which really is a different company, but of course in the same industry, but with a different purpose. So that was my kind of roles that companies I did work. I definitely evolved from a technician to a BIM lead to a BIM manager to a BIM technical consultant to a UK BIM director. And I came to a point as well, in fact, that I would say, what is my next step? And that's when I
Man,
start DiRoots. You see, I think it came all along and, the nice sequence, a great experience, which made me today probably a bit more stronger than, if I had started my own journey a few years back. So nice, I will say nice career. I'm very proud to be frank as well.
yeah, you should be proud. Yeah, that's really fascinating that you kind of started at the bottom and kind of worked your way up to the top with some really big names in the industry. Mont McDonald, WSP, Autodesk. I mean, these are some not insignificant companies and not insignificant roles that you had leading up to your career now at DRoots. So, for those who don't know, would you speak about kind of your role now at DRoots and what your mission is, what kind of yeah, just a little bit of overview on the company for those who don't know.
Of course, with great pleasure, as you know. Uh, DiRoots is a company focused on the software side. We are mainly focused on creating tools that can help to help business or people whatever to help them to produce more in less time. So we're looking for productivity tools. We look into automation. We look into efficiency, and we're looking also to avoid these human errors. So that's what we do. We create solutions, automate solutions based in specific workflows for companies or even clients or projects. More than that as well, I think we also have 8 plugins. In case you're not aware, we have 8 Revit plugins, which they are free, and so many people get surprised sometimes why they are free, and because they're quite good. Not just the free and okay, but they are definitely good. And but we have these 8 plugins, which they kind of help any kind of Revit user because we're looking for our free plugins to be kind of a wider solutions, so covers like data management, filtering, I don't know, reordering, renumbering. We have also the Pro Sheets, which is our PDF branch to PDF, sorry, batch printing tool, which is also very popular, even the most popular tool that we have. So we got a lot of nice tools, which they are free and very popular, I must say.
Yeah. So I think that I'd love to talk more about those plugins because I think it's counterintuitive. You give these plugins away, but I mean that's how I found you through looking for trying to find better automation or just I was learning how to code at the time. I was just learning some basic web coding, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and I was looking for how to where is the automation in the architecture, engineering, and construction industry. And that's how I first came upon your plugins, I think, in like
Okay.
at least a year ago, or maybe a year and a half ago. I was looking at, and I sent the BIM lead or at our company, and he was taking a look at the plugins. And then, man, yeah, I saw recently. It seems like people have been absolutely loving your batch sheet creation tool. It's been getting a lot of notoriety on LinkedIn. So
Yeah.
I'd love to talk more about the plugins and your thoughts on Why you think it's a great idea to give those away for free?
Well, I did work for small companies as well, and in even the past. And one of the things I struggle many times was to convincing people, my superiors, my senior management, to invest in tools that will help not me, but the team, or even me at that time as well. So, and I know some of the tools they were quite expensive. That's not the challenge, and our industry is a bit old school, and I don't think we can deny that. There are numbers to show to prove that in many ways, in many manners as well. So, but we focus in these tools, and that's what when I create DRoots, I tell to myself I want to come to the market with a different view, different with different concept. And even if you look back, I haven't explained, I haven't mentioned, but DRoots, what is the meaning of DRoots? D stands for disruptive and roots for roots. So we are disruptive roots. We definitely came to a market with different vision, different concept. Honestly, if you want, I'm not going to open that subject, okay, because I tell you. But I done my own research, some time ago about the impact of Industry 4.0. So, which I think, is coming the biggest disruption of, of all times. And we will see, of course, but definitely that was also the vision. So creating these tools is definitely, some people see as a marketing strategy. To be frank, it was never primary marketing strategy, but I can't deny the benefits as well. I have to be honest and transparent about that. So, but definitely our tools, for example, we've got the Pro Sheets we got the Sheet Link, even recently now, because we this week we released a new version of Sheet Link. We invest so much time on that, just a new version. That was our first plugin that we released 3 years ago, more or less in April 2018. So we come up with a new version. SheetLink is a data management tool for Revit, which allow people to import and export data from Revit models to spreadsheets, for Microsoft Excel files or Google Drive or Google Sheets, sorry, and also Google Drive supports Google Drive. We got Family Revisor, which was our second plugin that is a very simple plugin, but also very powerful, allows the users to rename the families inside Revit, and also something that is not very well, it's very popular work sets. Also allow people to manage the work set, which is very useful. We got One Filter as well, which is our third tool on our and in the same sequence as well that we released the first time. It was our third tool to release. Is by the way, he's been considered by many Revit users, and I'm not saying that because it's just with the feedback the most powerful tool for filtering, objects inside the Revit or elements inside Revit. Is very powerful. Is they have a lot of hidden gems, so it's definitely a tool people should look into that. But I will say that is a tool for more advanced users. We got the number one at the moment, which is ProSheets, is a batch printing tool that we have allows users to create views or drawing sheets or title blocks and or even 3D views, whatever type of views they can export to PDF, DWG, DGN, I don't know, IFCs and even image, for example. It allows very useful. It's very powerful as well because the user can rename the file the way he wants. He can select parameters. So that was probably one of the few things that people really like. SheetGen also another plugin related to creating drawings allows people to to create well, I will say it can be thousands of views, but a high number of drawing sheets inside Revit in an automatic way. Of course, this is based on a predefined template. We got Panel Manager that is also exploding in terms of usage, and we got a lot of people starting to use that. Is also a great tool to manipulate Revit parameters. Is definitely also some people claim to be one of the best, if not the best, well, one of the best, but some of the best tool in the market for that. We got a very simple tool, which is probably our simplest tool, which is reordering. Is about renumbering objects in Revit. And TablesGen allow people to bring Excel files into Revit as a drafting views, legends, or schedule views, but without embedded data in the components. That's the 8 tools that we have at the moment. I also can add to the conversation. We work on the 9 now, but even not just working the new tool, we also working improving like SheetGen. We have a new version coming up soon, which we have improved the performance heavily and a lot of few new features as well. We also working thermal revise at that time as well to make improvements again. As I told you, we released recently SheetLink. Honestly, I really recommend try SheetLink. You will be surprised. It's so nice. And one of the things that people comment on our products, guys, as well, is that our plugins tend to be very user friendly and a great user experience, which probably maybe because we are also people that coming from the field, we understand the tools and we understand the needs and we try to make it simple. So that's a little bit introduction. Sorry if I was too long.
No, no, that was perfect. I love that. No, I think that's a great perspective point about you speaking about how you've worked as a drafter in the industry, and you've worked all the way up the rungs of the ladder, so what people need to see, and so
Hmm.
that colors the way that you make these plugins and applications, and so I think that's great. I think that's awesome.
Thank
No,
you.
I'm really interested in this topic of it seems quite obvious to me that the sheet link and the sheet creation is a huge area to bring value to the table. It almost feels like I don't know. It's my company has like a custom kind of Revit print function, and it's like it's the innate one in Revit is so clunky, and it seems like an obvious omission of, and it takes these tasks that you're talking about, the sheet creation or the renumbering. These are things that with a project of any significant size can,
Yeah.
they don't. It doesn't. The sheet numbering doesn't add inherent value to the documents, but it's something that can take hours and hours and hours with
Hmm.
phasing or with renumbering because of permitting or any number of things that could happen in a project. So it's an area to bring tremendous value in with automation. So I think it's a fascinating topic to hear you talk about how you've really kind of tackled it, and not just tackled it, but tackled it with finesse and with a mind for user experience, and trying to make it not just functional, but easy to use.
Yeah, that's one of the key points I can underline that we always try. I do know as well and understand some of the tools we have, special sheet chain or parameters, they can maybe be a bit more complex, but the complexity comes with the functionality they brought as well to the market because they're not simple tools. You can find a lot of simple tools, Revit plugins, very, very simple. But they also do one task and a very easy task. Some of the tasks we're doing, they quite heavily, in terms of, in many aspects, to be frank with you. And even look, as an example, Gus, the sheet link that we released last week, the latest version, we have a lot of improvements. Yeah, like as an example, it took us like probably like 3 months of development just to come back with these, with these free tool, and plus a lot of testing and a lot of even two interface testing. So it's a lot of work, a lot of even not just one person. I can tell you, not just one person behind. It's a lot of few people behind from inside the roots, even from outside, because we got these small beta testers, users, which is people that use our tools. They like our stuff and they want to help us as well. So yeah, but it's definitely a nice one. And I forgot I mentioned about the nine tool which we are working at the moment. We have one person working in that at this stage. We're looking to create a small tool to allow people to easily import some small objects from point clouds and bring it into a Revit family environment so they can, recreate these in a more quick way. So we are doing another tool, which apparently is very in demand. We ask as well. I don't know if you follow us as well, but we never. Sometimes we don't do things alone. And when I say alone, I say we listen, what the people have to say to us, our users. We really love the feedback and really appreciate that. Even I have to admit, and I think it is normal, not just from our side, any software company, they are the users that help us to make our tools the greater because that's their feedback and more than just the feedback, reported to us the bugs in the right way so we can replicate, we can fix them. Because that's sometimes, a big challenge. And I have to tell you, being a free tool comes with an extra challenge. When you think you have more users to use, definitely. But I tell you, the challenge of being free is because if you have, for example, sometimes we got reports of people, as an example, find the bug. and we ask them, okay, please, can you tell us how to? And so we can. They don't reply back here to the email. So I'm pretty sure if they were paying for that tool, they will report me one and see the bug fix. But apart of that, we have a lot of good people as well. That either ways they know what we're doing and they believe in our journey, so they support us. And if they find the bugs, they report, to share files if they have to. So it's been, yeah, but sometimes it's tricky, I tell you.
Yeah, for
That's the
sure.
downside of being free. And one
Yeah,
thing I learned,
there's always pros and cons. There's always pros and cons to, even trying to do it the best way that you can. But that's interesting that you're talking about point clouds. I've seen a movement in the industry for 3D scanning and point clouds, and really starting to, for existing occupancies, especially moving towards trying to have more digital input from surveying facilities. So, uh, yeah, it sounded like it was a more on a small scale. You were saying your tool to generate a family from a 3D point cloud, but I find that interesting because
yeah.
I've seen we've the company I work for has had a couple jobs that use laser scanning or image
Mhm.
mapping of facilities. So that's something I find interesting.
Yeah, it's the industry, to be frank, is growing. Is growing a lot at the moment. More people are doing laser scans, before, even after they build. So, yeah, is a lot of work is being done in that field as well, for
Definitely.
sure.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about, we talked about your plugins a little bit, but I'd love to hear you speak a little bit more about some of the, kind of custom solutions that you do at DRoots, some sort of like outside of the box solutions that you might have. I don't know if you might have an example of like a time when you provided a custom solution, and you obviously you don't have to use names or anything, but
Yeah.
just for my curiosity about just the kind of things that DRoots does to help people win in the architecture and construction industry.
hmm Sure. In terms of the custom, for example, even I have to say that one of the biggest markets that we have for the custom solutions is the US market, and that's the truth. And I don't know why, but one of the things I'm learning as well, I'm still trying to understand why. But for example, the Americans are much more forward to go and invest, and if they have a return. But in Europe, I don't see the same kind of attitude. But that's just a personal view based on a few findings. Anyway, we're moving forward to terms of tools. There are a lot of tools we have done so far, I guess, and some of the best ones we can't even mention. What we're doing. That
Sure,
is kind of forbidden. Below these NDAs, but definitely there are a couple of tools which we create even some case studies. We are creating a second case study right now, and that one, for example, is one of my favorite tools as well that we create so far. It was for a Brazilian company. And this tool allows the use of, the block work that we do, manually on site, put one, but like the break work, the block work, comes you know what I
I
meant.
think
All
so.
the breaks. Yeah. So what we did, for example, and that is quite public. We have released a few posts on that. Is
Oh
we
yeah,
automate all the placement of the brickwork. So we build these, walls. We have like a generic wall in Revit, and we convert this generic wall into bricks, but with a lot of rules based in the client. And quite, I have to admit, looks a great too, but more than that, it was quite complex mathematical from a mathematic perspective because, all the constraints and all the rules that we have set up made us quite complex too. But even plus, he just does the block work and also plus he placed the lintel as well above the doors and windows. So it's a quite nice tool. And that was one of them we did, and we delivered, very, even I think the last version, the final version was this week. And for example, in terms of expectations or even what the client is get, this is amazing. That's why it's one of my favorite tools as well. We kind of automate the process in 97.5%. So a work that it will take to this client to do, let's say, 40 hours of work, or reduced to 2 hours or 2.5 hours of work, which is an amazing achievement. And it is kind of tools that we like to do. We even do in now one. is not complete, which, for example, which also I don't have an NDA on this one, which I export in some geometries. I would not tell details until we got this
Sure.
out, but we exporting some geometry that other people will have to rebuild if we couldn't export that. So, and that will be again, working from scratch. And because, all the models, architectural especially, and structural doesn't change a lot, but because all these geometries inside, like spaces and rooms, they are quite important, and they are always changing all the time along, with the changes on the project. So we getting a tools what we're looking for 98% because we exporting geometry so they can use geometry in a third party software. Another one we did, for example, which is also public, is we did a tool for Portugal, for a client in Portugal, which we published a case study where the client also claims to have more than 90% of savings. So what we did, all these detailing for rebar, we done automatically the process. We create the views, we annotate them. So which means that it takes a lot of time, and more than that, it takes time to check and makes people overspending time, which they they could spend this time in something else. And that's what people looking to now to automation, just not to wait, just to spend less time is finding more free time to do other things
Sure.
which they should doing. And that's a key. That's two examples, but I can say that we or even three. I mentioned three projects. There were
Hmm.
much more, and I hopefully in the future I will be able to share, much more what we do. And I
Yeah.
know some will never allow us to do.
That's okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
but I
That's
change. I have to tell you, I'm insisting with our clients, please allow us to people to see what you're doing. It's quite nice. Some of them they are
yeah.
amazing. Believe
Yeah.
me, very well.
That's cool. Yeah, I remember now the brick one that, and I had seen a cool tutorial on that. The video that took the wall and basically generated the brick layout, and it was
Yeah.
really interesting. You were telling about the lintel. It put in the lintel and had a complex mathematical equation to it as well.
Oh yeah. Believe me,
Um,
that was the
but
headache.
yeah, that's awesome to take a task that is extremely labor intensive and
Mhm.
to have a 95% or higher time
Over on
savings
that,
rating. Yeah,
97.5. Sorry.
man. No, you're fine. Go ahead and correct me. That's it's a good thing to denote. Man, what an astounding feat for something, a task that that now that the company can take that time and focus on the things that add more value to their bottom line or wherever they want to spend that time. And so that's an
And
incredible story.
I think you have something, I think it's a different also perspective I'm getting now, from the experience I'm having with these clients. And what what I'm feeling, I think people that start this automation journey, they get addicted. They
Yeah,
get addicted because they want to do more, and they start to see, oh, why I've been doing this for, spending so much time doing this, but I can just, in a single click and maybe a few minutes or a few seconds, it depends on the task that the machine is processing. It can do it for me, And
yeah,
honestly, one thing I see, guys, is a lot of people, they come with the first project, the first idea, and then they come again, they come again, they come again. It's very nice, and because,
yeah,
well, it means a lot of things as well, but that's one of the things I'm noticing. I didn't know that. It's one of the things I'm learning with this experience. Is this is addicting?
yeah. No, I agree. That's what happened to me. I got started with not
Yeah,
knowing anything about coding and then knowing a little bit about coding and seeing the multiplier effect that being able to automate the there's
you
that
become more
Python
curious.
Python
Yeah, you want to
course
go.
that
Yeah,
says
yeah.
automate the boring stuff. That but it's so good. And also I wanted to talk about that. I thought it was a great note you were saying earlier about the U.S. kind of having more of a desire for the custom solutions or some of
Yeah.
those custom tech things. I thought that was really interesting. I do wonder sometimes if
I
there's
think
a
it's your culture. You know that, guys.
yeah,
Your
yeah,
culture is different from Europe. And well, I don't want to criticize anyone. It's not about criticizing, but in I don't know. We look into more details here. Maybe sometimes they don't need to spend so much time. In the medic is all about there is if we invest, what is my return?
yeah,
And that's what probably is a medic. became one of the greatest countries in the world. You see, my point is because attitude, that you have there, and definitely is becoming bigger. And we good because even we have we never in this and we have in the center. But we've been working even now. With this last week, we got 2 projects confirmed for the US.
Yeah, that's remarkable. I think it's a not a right or wrong thing. I think it's a cultural thing, like you're
Yeah.
saying, and just like the tech is just something that's really embraced. I mean, in America and a lot of different. It seems like in every different person I talk to in the U.S. for their work and probably globally there's a new tech implication to what we do, and so that was one
And
of
I
the
tell you
reasons
more
why
as
I'm
well
like,
because I tell you more as well because that's one of the things I noticed, and we're seeing, why the clients are coming to us is, for example, when we look, US always invest much more in technology, from my understanding. Even if you go, for example, in the US market, you have a lot of tools, Revit plugins, add-ons, that they are made for Revit, that work for the American needs, you see, for your market needs. And why is what we notice as well is a lot of companies are realizing that when they buy these 20, 30, 50 licenses, and they have to pay to subscribe, they are leaving these subscription models and creating their own tools,
yeah,
which create tools which they are really work for what they want. There's no commercial tool which it needs to cover different scenarios, but at the end it will cover one or two. But that's what we're seeing, is some of these, no, we don't want to pay more, the X, Y, Z, but I want to, create my own tool because what we pay we can create and even can get better KPIs, better returns. Because at the end, maybe the initial cost might be, I even underline that, higher, but at the end, in the short run, whenever you have to pay the subscription, you already pay that anyway. And that's what probably, I think is what one of the reasons as well is because the your market, it was more spending more money in this type of tools and
yeah,
before. Yeah,
yeah.
that's probably as well. I have to admit that.
Yeah, yeah, the marketing and then like you said, that pricing model of that subscription model for technology, I think is it's becoming so common. I'm starting to see it.
Yeah.
Even other industries are seeing that. Oh, my gosh, tech is making such big money using this model of creating a service that has just the ability to come back and all keep creating value. And if it's something that people like, and that they can't put down, then it's perpetual machine. But that's definitely interesting. I like hearing about that. It's interesting to hear you speak since you have a global perspective, more global than my perspective on those kind of trends. So that's
Hmm.
cool. But I wanted to ask you about. I think I've been through at least a couple of them, but I wanted to ask you about your instructional videos and kind of how you started doing these and again, like you're taking a chance again to give away content for people and help people out. Why did you decide to do this, or kind of what inspired that?
I really quickly mentioned in the beginning about my vision about what is coming next with this industry 4.0. I see the world changing. The world will change definitely. The technology will change a lot of things, and that was one of the reasons. Like I told you as well, in the past, in some situations I want to buy the tool, but it was so expensive, or even maybe the cost. Now I'm not going to spend whatever is that. So I know there are a lot of people like, or used to be like me. There are people like me that they want to buy, they want to have access to these tools. I want to give something away. I don't. I When I start the roots, it was not just about the money. It was definitely to provide something to the market. Also because we are old school, we need to change the mentality. Even we have to to support more companies like us. Because even I tell you, for example, another point, we have also donations, of course, but the donations doesn't pay anything. In fact, help us maybe to buy some one or two tools, and that's it, no more than that. But definitely is important, and why we did that is because we are making people happy at the end, and that's one of the things I can't measure. I can even explain to you. But what we do is really appreciate is in numbers, for example, I don't know exactly the number, I will not tell you, but I'm pretty sure our download numbers are over 200,000 at this stage. in terms of users, we already reached, 50,000, active users, which is a big number for us, for the Revit, community. And we are becoming, like, for example, a second. Even we know in many companies in business, when they install Revit DRoots plugins, we are become the second, most tools to have or campaign, Revit. But the idea, like I said, I don't think there was a big idea. There was just definitely a vision, and I don't think in the future the companies that they overcharge prices or whatever. They have to give something away. We all need to contribute. That is just our contribution, small contribution to the market. I know it's not a lot, but I do know as well that it helps a lot of people and makes a lot of people happy. And that community that they're using our tools is becoming bigger every day, which is the most frustrating part. We
Yeah.
start with probably one user, that was me, and now we go over 50,000, so which is excellent. And I know this is growing, that are growing numbers. In fact, I can tell we have an average like 300 users, new users per week, which
Wow.
is, and it's, yes, exactly, it's amazing. Definitely, it's a nice feeling personally for me, as you understand. But
Yeah.
definitely, more than just that is people, they like our tools, they appreciate, they really respect what we do, and
Yeah.
even they support us, which is nice anyway. So, but
Yeah.
I don't know anyway to tell you. So just that was the remember DRoots means disruptive roots. We're here to disrupt. If you ask the big dreams, I don't know. Tell you, I can't tell you exactly where what they are, but we have I think we have a kind of role to play, and we have big ambitions. But let's see, let's have fun because
Yeah.
remember, and one thing that you probably don't know yet is DRoots is a self-funded business, so we have no investors, and honestly, we're not looking forward to that. We like our free journey, and we know with the investors nothing will change. And that's probably even saying that we don't have investors, and we have it. I think what we have managed to do so far, or to achieve so far, is so nice that make us, all of us very, very proud. And even the team that behind me is fantastic. I can't, I can't deny
Yeah.
the support I have for them. So yeah, I think we are on a great path for do something nice. Let's see where we will take us. But I tell you guys, I have bigger dreams in terms of what we're going to do. But let's, start with Revit plugins for now. Huh?
Yeah.
Just not,
That's great.
never, yeah. But what we want as well is just to also to support people, help people, because we just get a small part of solutions for what is possible to do. And that's where I think there was the gap. And that's what I think as well. I want to fill that gap. And
Yeah.
that's what we're doing at the moment, filling one of the gaps in the market, which, by the way, there are a lot of new companies coming up as well in our field, which, from my understanding and some feedback I receive, also inspired by our journey, which is nice to know, nice to see. But yeah, I tell you as well, this is not a hard market, it's a hard market. But anyway, but it's growing, it's a growing market. And I believe that customization in the future is going to be the way forward. I
Yeah.
want to open the conversation up, but I believe customization, for many businesses, is going to be the only way having software.
Yeah.
And but that's what even Autodesk is doing with Forge. When they create Forge, they knew where the market is going. We
Yeah.
see a lot of criticisms to Autodesk in many ways, but Autodesk, in my opinion, is in forward thinking is the one more advanced. The creating Forge solution is a platform for developers. Everyone can build in Forge, connect with different APIs. Is going to be a great tool, which means is it can replace tools if you kind of achieve the right way, or even if you depends on the scope as well, as a business that you do. Of course, if you do a lot of complex things, one tool is never enough. But definitely is a big market coming up for customization, and it's growing. And another thing I haven't mentioned, because I'm talking about customization and trends, one of the things we've seen as well is a lot of people that really invest heavily in Dynamo, they are moving forward and going out to Revit plugins. They're taking, the most advanced, the most complex, the ones that cost more to maintain and to and all of the issues that comes with Dynamo. They are converting these big scripts into proper plugins, which they because they want performance, they want scalability, they want other benefits that a Python Dynamo script cannot provide, and you can find in Revit plugins. So if you invest, definitely that's the way forward. So it's a lot of good things in the market, and you see, we came the right moment. The market is there for us, and yeah, we're looking forward to the next
Yeah.
steps.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like you said, I think Dynamo is the gateway into the automation. If you can
Hmm.
get people integrated and started with Dynamo, and then that's the first step on the journey of understanding the power of automation and what the Autodesk kind of suite can do. Uh, have an interest just from like somebody who's in the industry and wonders about like Autodesk, but do you see any real competitors to Autodesk in what we do? It doesn't seem, in my estimation, like there's any company or software that can really hold a candle to
They are,
the
they are,
giant.
mm, they are competitors, Gus, and but they don't control the market as Autodesk does in the AC. We got Bentley's. Bentley's been there for a while. We got Graphisoft as well, but they never cover all the fields. And then we got now the guys from Bricks, yeah, with the Big Scat, which is growing as well a lot in Europe. I don't think you probably heard a lot from them in the US market, but they're
Oh,
growing quite a lot. Big Scat. And yeah, it's quite nice too, quite nice too. But definitely, Autodesk takes, they invest a lot. Revit was a big revolution to the market, and at that time, when I even believe me, the first users we got a lot of criticized for using Revit. I'm just going back on time now. I remember a situation, seeing a comment from someone review a drawing and say, yeah, do that in AutoCAD. Than doing Revit. You didn't like the Revit style. Yeah, but that definitely is a market change. I don't think at the moment they are anyone, they can compete with Autodesk. But, they are competing. They're trying to, but not on the same level. And yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
To be frank, that's sorry, I don't know. But I don't think they are at the moment. They're
yeah,
trying, definitely. They
yeah.
can't, I think, at this stage.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how that'll develop. So, I wanted to ask about, it seems like you're prolific in your ability to kind of have good posts for LinkedIn and social media. But I wanted to ask you about, as an entrepreneur and somebody who runs their own company, do you have any tips to help maintain business relationships or just stay involved with the community? Yeah, I'd love to hear about that from you.
As an entrepreneur, I always came to the market as well with a vision of being open and transparent, being honest. That's the key point. Even when we recruit people, I still do all the interviews with everyone at this stage. And one of the things I do, as an example, I used to hate to go to interviews where people they have a list of questions and they shout you on you the questions. For example, when I start the interview, normally I introduce DRoots. I really introduce DRoots when I meant that maybe the first 10 or 15 minutes is me talking. I even don't like to call interviews like a discussing an opportunity. So that's one of the things I will definitely tell to people. You probably need to change the way that we used to do things, not just from the business, but how we're going to recruit. Because at the end, if you're looking to recruit people, you need to look to good people, and that's one of the things you need to find as well. Try to find the good people. I don't ask you to define definitely, but and you definitely can. You can't never recruit just the good people. You will find as well some not so good, let's say, and but definitely investing in your people. Even explain to them your vision. Tell me how we're going to achieve. That's one of the things I did try to do as well when I bring people on board. I'm sorry for starting the way in talking to people, because I'm no one without my team. And if we are where we are today as DiRoots, and I know we still have a lot to walk and go through, is because of the team. With the team, we're going to make it. That's what I have the first tip, focus on your team. There are moments, of course, complex and happy moments and sad moments, or euphoric moments, or even angry moments. Anyway, so they will be everything. But definitely, the team needs to be strong. But definitely need to find good people, people that will lead you, and they want to be part of this journey. They will commit their time because as self-funded startup is not easy. When you don't have money for investors, you have to put everything what you have into a business is hard. But in terms of the rest of recommendations, definitely, one of the things I learned as well from my experience as an entrepreneur is you must believe. If you don't believe, who's going to believe? So you need to be the first one to believe. I even say to my guys as well, you must believe it. If you don't believe, you're never going to get there. What else? I'm just thinking about a few things I could say. There are a lot of things, honestly, that will come up easily in a conversation. I'm just trying to
Sure.
figure out. In terms of a more social, we definitely use LinkedIn, and probably as people notice and people know, we were one of the first ones using LinkedIn as a platform, to reach more people, and we're doing quite well. Why? I don't know how, maybe because of our attitude, our products, what we are, and people recognize that is probably the key of success to us. In terms of business, and definitely, for example, I have to admit now, DRoots is not UK business anymore, or we never been, because since we start, most of our clients are like in outside the UK. I would say, I don't have the percentage, but I have no problem to say that 80% comes outside of Europe or close to that.
Wow.
So we are a global company, and that reach help us, or that reach help us. We managed to get that through the social networks, definitely, with LinkedIn and Facebooks. Not so much stronger on Twitter. I don't know why. Another one I never tried to understand, but definitely is the hardest one to get. But definitely that's what we do. Uh, the exposure that you have, we get from the socials by sharing the good stuff we do, and we probably did always a bit sometimes one send us of promotion. If you need like a custom, come to us and we help you. But definitely is about our products. We focus on our products. And I don't think we are aggressive in terms of, and I think sometimes as well, I see a lot of people too aggressive nowadays, and even the change on our market in our social networks. If you want to go that route as well, because there's a lot of people are starting to getting paid to talk about things, which I hate that, to be frank with you. And so then, because we're not genuine anymore, but we try to be genuine, sharing our products, being honest, sharing about the products. And I don't know, things. It's 4 years of a journey as well, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
a lot of work is being spent. Yeah, but just be close to your at the end, I will say, be close to your community, to your supporters, to your users. I try to understand them. Not every time you're going to make them happy. I know that, and I can
Yeah.
tell you that. But you can definitely help many times. Be close to them, because they're the ones that help you to grow your business and to make where you are. And if we are where we are, also it's because of our users, that they like us, and we listen. I think that's why they like us as well.
Yeah.
We care for them.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. I love your sentiment about being close to your team, sharing your vision with your team, and also being close to the people who consume your products and consume your content. It's a real humbleness that is nice to see, that you're not an egomaniac and just like, this is the content we make and you have to like it. You're saying, no, tell me what you like. What's good about this, what's bad about this. You're staying in touch and keeping your edge with the market and what you see happening. So I think that's why people are, supportive of what you're doing, is because
Mhm,
you're taking a look at the big pain points and the sticky situations in the architecture, engineering, and construction industry, and you're saying,
mhm.
hey, this is where we can add value. Look at the value we are showing, and you're kind of taking some of these spots. I feel like are just, it kind of baffles me how nobody has taken these by the reins before, like the sheet creation we talked about, but also like I guess Autodesk does provide some of this training,
Right.
and there's other places to provide this training, but like you said, it's cost prohibitive. I mean, a young
Yeah, yeah,
professional, somebody who's getting into the industry that just maybe spent money on a college degree or doesn't have money to
yeah,
invest in their career like that. They don't have the money to go out and buy 500 $1,000 worth of training, and the
yeah, yeah.
company might not have the ability to pay for that either. So I mean, they're always going to be a fan of you for putting these solutions out that they can get their hands on and actually start to, be
Even
a
to
better
Dynamo,
professional.
I haven't mentioned, but we got also a free Dynamo course. We have two, in fact, the basics and the advanced, and a lot of people love it. I have to tell you that. So I haven't mentioned, but we also have that Dynamo free training in our website and on YouTube.
Yeah.
So is that for those, and we even provide a free certificate for the advanced, no, for the basics course. So we don't charge. You see, we are a nice team. We're here to most of it for fun.
Yeah. No, I've taken your at least a couple of those videos of your Dynamo course
Yeah.
because I don't have very much programming background, but enough to get my hands on some visual basics in Dynamo, and so I've definitely been through those videos. I'll throw some of the links down to those videos in the show notes for this episode to the YouTube page and the DRoots website, but yeah, I really have enjoyed those, and that's the most comprehensive YouTube video for like an introduction to Dynamo that I've seen.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Well,
I
thank you for
haven't
that,
found
Gus.
any that competes with you.
I know, I know. And I didn't want to say that. I'm glad that you said that. But many people came to us and said that is the best Dynamo course I ever came across. And even I tried on with your Dynamo course. I really managed to understand Revit because what we did with our course, we explained the logic. We're not the show off guys, okay? We're going to do that and that. It's not the point. You need to understand the logic, my friend. If you don't, one of the things I gave as an advice as well, we need to understand the logic of things. If you don't understand the logic of things, how software works, you're never going to be good. Even now with Revit, when I, for example, first start with Revit, I try to understand how Revit works. After understanding how Revit works, I could help people. I could fix problems like, they come across, when you're using the tools. So that's probably one of the best tips I can give. Always look to the logic, understand the logic
Yeah.
of things. And then if after you get the logic, believe me, you are going to ace anything in life.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. It's one of those hard things for people to communicate sometimes to people who don't understand a subject are the very fundamental building blocks. And some courses that you watch, they'll be too high level, not
Hmm.
just speaking about Dynamo specifically, but anywhere, any subject you could learn that people too often get away from the basics, or there's not such a gradual transition from oh, this is the different type of data parameters to like, the next step up of, the intermediate level. And so that's a good point about understanding the fundamentals. But
Hmm.
yeah, I wanted to kind of, we're getting close to the end of the interview, but I know we've talked about some really good trends and different, things that you're seeing in the AEC industry, but I wanted to you know, ask you again about any other
Hmm.
things that you're seeing in automation in the future or that you're seeing right now in the industry. I just love this topic. So
In terms of advancements we can do in automation, there's a lot of things we can do. Definitely, what I do say normally, if you call a rule-based process, don't worry, we can fix it for you because anything that is rule-based, it can be programmed, it can be coded, it can be make it. So these benefits. In terms of great solutions, I'm looking forward as well to these AI developments. But come on, and let's be honest as well, the AI we see is not the same AI that Steven Spielberg mentioned, okay? So we're still far away from that level, and we need to be realistic. Even we have some trials with the AI to different projects, and we understand the limitations for us, which for the cost of hardware is quite expensive to invest. But definitely looking for what is coming the next level for AI, maybe to automate, kind of predict, not automation. AI is not about automation, it's about prediction optimization. That's what I'm looking forward to. That I know there are a few companies doing some kind of stuff that as well, but I think we don't need even to look into AI. That's the key point. We can fix a lot of manual or repetitive tasks that we do every day or almost every day, and that's where the business, I think they should look into their niche. Focus how they can help or what they can be improved because there's a lot of opportunities everywhere, and that's the fascinating part of AC because we've been, a bit old school mindset. We never really invest. We're looking more into the lever than to probably to invest into our business. There's so many opportunities, but as a specific one, I don't want to focus in one topic, one tool, or but I see a lot of great things coming up in the market, but definitely more. Every time I speak with people, I know there are needs, and that's the needs I think we need to look for and more. Don't expect for the tool, because that tool that you want might never come up. You might have to kind of initiate. Even nowadays, there are many ways to approach these automation subjects. You don't need to go alone as one business. Why you don't take one, two, three business and you do all the same, invest together. It's about sharing. Remember, BIM is all about sharing. And if you go to integrated product delivery, it's all about share. Share is a keyword, one of the keywords. So we need to, I think, join forces in the industry so we can achieve great, great improvements. And that's what I will do. Probably changing, the cultural mindset in many situations. If we change that, a lot of things will happen. I think, I don't know, but definitely
Yeah.
great tools. I see a lot of great tools. I don't want
Yeah.
to mention any name, but definitely there are a lot of great tools out there right now.
Sure, sure. I think that's a great point. It's easy to look to the future and say AI or machine learning or all these things. But if you take a look at our industry right now, we're not even leveraging the best tools that are out there with what we know about technology for the AEC industry, kind of like you've mentioned that. So let's focus on using the tools that society has right now for our industry before we
Hmm.
start thinking how do we put the cutting edge of AI or machine learning onto
Yep.
what we're doing. So I think that's a good point. But I just want to thank you so much, Jose, for coming on the podcast. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak to me. I
No,
appreciate it.
it was a, as I said at the beginning, it was a great pleasure, Graciela. Thank you very much for the invite as well, to share some of our experience and even some personal experience. But definitely, it was, it's my story anyway, so that's it.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Be sure to share the episode with a friend if you enjoyed it. Don't forget that fire protection and life safety is serious business. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are by no means a professional consultation or a codes and standards interpretation. Be sure to contact a licensed professional if you are getting involved with fire protection and or life safety. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.